I still think that this decision is absolutely absurd and stupid and that the jury should reconsider this, but my lawyer is agitated further. I discussed with her about the possibility of countersuing my cousins for stress and harassment claims, but she told me that it might not hold up in court as my cousins won the case. So it technically wouldn't be seen as the way we would need it to be seen to win. I went home that day and, for the first time since my father's death, cried myself to sleep. The money that was left over from him to me was meant to be mine, and now I'm here being forced to pay it out to a bunch of ungrateful people who couldn't care less about my dad. On the bright side of the situation, I still have the properties and some money from his bank accounts. My dad, like I said, previously wasn't rich, of course, and most of his life, he lived paycheck to paycheck, so he doesn't actually have that many savings in his account. So after the deduction of $2,400, which is what the total payout to my relatives would be after the 4 months, I'll be left with around $40,000 to inherit from that account. I'm gonna be honest and say that all that trouble I went through for $2,400 wasn't worth it. To me, it wasn't about the money update too. Hi, everyone. I just thought of leaving one final update on this whole situation so that everyone here that's been asking for an update can rest easy. It's been 5 months since my last update, so quite a lot has happened. Firstly, I continued the payments out to my relatives like I was told to by the court, and last month was actually the final payment month, so I'm officially free from any $600 outward payments. After the payments ended, my cousin emailed me about possibly continuing the payments despite not having to do so anymore. I replied to him no, especially after how he treated me with the whole suing situation, and I also tore into him a bit about how me and him are just a year apart in age. Yet he is here begging me for more money and that he should be ashamed of himself. I also let him know that the time to get back on his feet is well up and that any adult with a fully developed mind should have the ability to be independent and not rely on monthly funds from dead people. I also realized that now these few relatives I have are all the family I have left. Even though I have moved on from my dad's death and learned to make peace with it, I still feel like I should try holding my leftover family a bit closer to me. So although I'm not fully ready to reunite and make best friends with my cousins yet, I did try to resolve the issues between me and my aunt and uncles and especially my grandparents. My uncles and aunts aren't that much involved in the court case and didn't really beg me to continue the payments like my cousins did, but they were rather like a byproduct of the case resolution with them getting paid. I called them all to my father's old house, which I inherited now, and I told them that any issues and arguments we had were now in the past, and that I'm ready to move forward if they are. Thankfully, they did agree, and we all forgive each other and had a good time. After that, I went to visit my father's grave and just sat there for a while. Occasionally, I visit his grave to just talk to him as if he was really there to listen. It helps me distress and makes me feel better inside. Along with making good terms with my aunt and uncles, I visited my grandparents' house as well. I was very young when my mom died, so I didn't know her very well. But I do know that she cared and loved her parents very much, so it felt like my duty to make ends meet with them. I'm pretty sure it's the same reason why my dad would care about them so much too, because they meant a lot to my mom. My grandparents were against me in a court case, but I had a long think about it. And I realized that I was in fact in the wrong when I was taking away their monthly payments. They are very old and need some funding from somewhere, so they can continue to eat and pay their rent. So I understand why they were sitting against me in court. As a resolution, I apologized to them about the whole situation and the stress it could have caused them. I also offered to send them money monthly so they can pay their rent and bills and afford food. It will come out of my pocket, but it was the right thing to do. I also hope one day to get things right with my cousins, but that's probably for a future day.